Hey,
Hey,
what's up?
how's it going?
Going good. Going good.
Good, good. Um, my buddy Brendan's jumping on here quickly, but
Cool.
I got the recording going now. So
Wonderful.
how was prep? Hey,
You say hi? You say hi? It's been good today though. Holy shit. I'm
you feeling it?
I'm feeling it
You
today.
feeling it?
Ooh, I'm
Yeah,
feeling it today.
yeah.
Man. And like
That's
yesterday too, it's getting to that point and I mean rightfully so.
right
But
for
it's
sure.
good though. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks out. So
2 weeks out. Okay, so
almost there.
I was thinking it was 1 week out, and I was like,
Yeah. So I originally, when I lost Chicago, I originally was going to jump into the UK show
yep,
because one of my coaches lives there. I could stay with him. All I'd have to do is buy a plane ticket. But the more I thought about it, I was like, I'm going to have to travel to another country. I
yeah,
don't know anyone besides my coach. I don't know how they do things. I don't know, the more I thought about it, the more I didn't like the idea because of how stressful it was going to be.
yeah.
So I decided to do the Titan Grand Prix, which is the 21st. So literally 1 week after. I can drive there. It's in Anaheim, California. So it just made more sense to
That's
me
yeah.
to do it that way.
That's nice.
Yeah.
You don't want to. I mean, maybe you want to go out of the country to do a show because I'm sure that's nice,
Yeah,
and I'd like to someday. But
for sure.
at this point, you're just trying to get. I assume you're trying to just get the
Yes.
qualification and
Yes.
get there. Yeah, for
Yes.
sure.
It would be a freaking awesome experience to go compete overseas. But like you said, I have what I want to do. And
Yep.
doing this is way, way cooler than going
Yeah.
overseas and
Yeah.
that experience. Plus, I would like to go overseas and not compete, like
Exactly.
just go to
Yeah.
go, like as a vacation,
Or
actually enjoy
like
it.
hit a show for that first weekend and then have
Yeah,
10 days after or something like
yeah,
that
yeah.
to enjoy it for sure. Do you think you could flip your phone sideways or
Yes,
like
it's my
rotate it?
iPad. Yep.
Oh, yeah, there. Perfect, perfect.
Better?
That's perfect. So
Cool.
I'll do an introduction now. You're an
Cool.
all-time world record holder.
Yeah.
You are the top of the top in women's physique in the IFBB. Hunter
Yeah.
Henderson. Thank you
Yeah.
for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Um, so interesting to start, you had said, Chicago,
Yeah.
you got a second place.
Yeah.
Are you the type of person or competitor that like I think I know the answer, but are you the
Hmm.
type of competitor that you take a second place, you take a loss, that's really tough on you? Or are you the type of person that's immediately like, no, I showed up the best I could, like I'm gonna do it next time.
Yeah. Definitely option two. Um, this is it's a long game. It's a long
Mhm.
game, and one loss is it's just one loss. You got to keep moving. Anytime that because this isn't the first time I've lost. I've had my fair share, but the goal never changes. You just pivot
Right.
and you keep moving forward. So,
Yep.
I lost Chicago. I was bummed. Obviously, I want to win. But I had the time of my life up there. That was my first show back since 2021, and I had a blast. So
Yeah.
it was a
I
good
mean,
experience all around.
the package you brought was super, super impressive.
Thank
So
you. We didn't come in, obviously, as conditioned as what I should have. And that's ultimately why I got second place. I mean, Sherry, she was peeled to the bone. Like there was no question about it. But yeah, it was good. It was a good experience.
good. What's up, Brandon?
What up?
Hi.
Hi, Hunter, how you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Can't complain.
So,
um,
who's your coach, Hunter?
So I am coached by Jared Feather and then a man over in the UK, Joe.
Okay, so they work together.
Shit, what's Joe's last name? Diet Brain is hitting me hard
oh
today.
yeah, it's like that.
Real Joe Jeffrey in the UK.
Okay.
They kind of, so I mainly work with Jared. He handles the training, the diets, and then they consult each other. Joe will step in with like drug advice and like peak week diet and drugs and those sorts of things. But mainly I work with Jared.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's more like RP strength training.
Yes,
Okay.
which was so different, so different.
Yeah, because most people are used to going like branch worn, balls to the walls kind of type.
Yeah.
But like I had to, like, because I work with Tuttle, and it's
Yeah.
like he changed my mindset too. He's like, dude, you got to slow things down, slow and controlled, like full range of motion, time under tension. And it was such a game changer when that happened.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, I was a power lifter before this, so it, powerlifting, you just move the weight.
It's as much as you can. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how long it takes. Yeah, it just
you just got to move the weight to their standard, and it's done.
I was going to ask about that. What was the transition from powerlifting to bodybuilding like? I mean, because you have that powerlifting mindset, right? Move weight from point A to point B as efficiently as possible. That's not quite what bodybuilding's about, right?
No.
So,
sorry.
Yeah. So how was that transition into like bodybuilding style training?
It was frustrating. It was very frustrating. Because in powerlifting, I like to think that I am pretty knowledgeable. I know what's going on. I know, what numbers I can hit. But I remember it was like my first week with Jared, and I was bench pressing. And in powerlifting, I can bench 369 pounds. First week with Jared, I was like, oh, it was like sets of 12. Sets of 12. I can do like 200, 225. Try like 165.
Yeah.
It was very, very humbling because, like, again, time under tension. Like, it's not like repping it out, like just moving through the motion. This is like moving with intention. And I was like, oh, okay, this is different. But it was good. It did take me like a week to get like acclimated to the different style. But it's been really good. I like the style of bodybuilding training.
Yeah, because you have to. A lot of it is like you have to, like, just like I tell my clients too. You gotta check your ego at the door. So it's like, it's like at first, like when Chris told me that, and like I'm sure when like Jared told you that, you're like, bro, come on, like what the fuck, really?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like you feel it start to work, and you see the growth pattern and everything like that, and you're like, okay, it's time to check my ego at the door.
Yeah. For sure, especially like on leg movements, because I'm a world record squatter. I am a very strong woman when it comes to the lower body. So like getting on the hack squat and only putting 3 plates on, I was like, this feels weird. This is not right. But then you get to like rep 20 and you're like, oh shit. Okay, this makes sense now.
That's it's funny you say that. So like I don't know if I'd call it a trend, but the amount of women over the past few years that I've seen come over from powerlifting to becoming elite professionals is pretty impressive. On the guy's side too.
Yeah.
But that being said, like, in bodybuilding today, I think you hear a lot of like, don't deadlift, don't squat. It's not conducive for bodybuilding. But you guys are great examples, right, of how this can transfer to elite level physiques. So do you I mean, obviously we see it, but do you think that that powerlifting background, sets you at a higher start point than somebody who's just been, let's say, weightlifting here and there, putting in the work, but just weightlifting for years, right?
I mean, I would say so. You see powerlifters go into bodybuilding and they're pretty dense.
Yeah.
Like they have dense muscle from all the heavy lifting. So I would say so.
I see it definitely in like the posterior chain and like those records, right? Like these powerlifter competitors build these incredibly dense backs. I mean, your calling card has to be your back, right? Like your rear double body your rear double by is better than 90% of the men's open guys. So,
thank you. I appreciate that.
I do think that sometimes with, I don't want to say necessarily like science-based lifting, right? But like sometimes we tend to steer away from what's tried and true and what works. And I do think that deadlift variations, squat variations still have their place in bodybuilding.
Absolutely. I will say though, I have not done like a free weight barbell squat since I got into bodybuilding. It's been like, it's different. I've done mainly like hack squat, Rogers Pro squat, things like that. It's been good. I'm definitely looking forward to going back though.
Okay, so I was gonna ask, do you ever have moments in bodybuilding training where you're like, oh man, I'd love to go for a triple here. I feel super strong today. Something like that. Yeah.
For sure.
Because I'm not a power lifter, but I definitely have those days where it's like you feel good.
Yeah.
You can put as much weight on the bar as possible, and you're like, man, it's just moving right.
Yeah.
That's funny. So you have two coaches.
Two coaches.
Another thing, so a lot of times these days I see people leaning on their coaches for almost what I would consider too much advice, right? So I see coaches picking shows for competitors, telling them exactly what to run. How do you feel about that? Do you guys work together, or is it more on your schedule of what you want to do?
I would say it's a collaboration. You know, I had already decided I was doing Chicago. I don't know why. I just had my heart set on it. And then I hired Jared. So I was the one telling him like, hey, we have 12 weeks. Let's go. And he was like, okay, let's go. Outside of that though, you know, I hired him for his expertise. So with drugs, with training, with that kind of stuff, I typically just follow what he says. I will ask questions like, hey, could we substitute this? Like, I like this movement better over this, or in regards to diet, like, can we maybe change this out? Like, and he works with me really well. Like he's very open to changing things and making it as enjoyable as it can be when it's
for sure
not so enjoyable.
It's good because I think I see, and you know, maybe I'm wrong here, but I feel like I've seen a trend these days, especially with female clients, right? I feel like they put a little too much into their coaches as far as like, obviously you always want to follow your coach, right? Especially if they're knowledgeable. But I feel like a lot of times it's left up to the coach of like, okay, you're gonna do this show next year, you're gonna run these drugs. And I feel like a lot of these women kind of just go with it because maybe they don't feel like it's right for them to question, or you know, but I do think that's a problem. And I do think at the end of the day, right, as coaches, because I'm a coach, Brendan's a coach, I'm sure you coach people as well. We're working for them, right? Like, it's a give and take, like you said. It's a collaboration. It's not just what I say goes and you have to do it.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely, you have to have like communication between you and the client, like mostly because like if you're just telling them what to do, like I feel like you take the element like out of play, especially with them, and you don't know, like there could be stuff going on like physically, mentally, whatever the case may be at home. Something could physically be going on with them that they're not telling you about. So I mean, opening up the lines of communication, especially with female clients, because their bodies change more than males, in my opinion.
For sure.
I mean, those can change at a drop of a hat. So I mean, and it's a lot more difficult for a female to get that weight off than it is a male. So you have to communicate with your female clients. That's a certainty.
Yeah, it's a weird line you have to walk, right? Like, as me being a client of a coach, but me also being a coach, like, I don't know. I feel like from the client standpoint, I always want to pick my own shows, and I want to at least be able to express to a coach what I'm okay with running drug-wise and what I'm not. And I feel like sometimes competitors they always assume the coach knows best, and I'm just going to go with it regardless.
I was one of those people.
Yeah.
Back in 2021, I had some coaches, and you assume that they have your best interests at heart, which is your happiness, your health, because that's what's most important. If you don't have your happiness, you don't have your health. What are these accomplishments like?
Right.
So yeah, I assumed they had my best interest at heart. They got me where they needed to get me. I got a pro card. I became one of the best powerlifters in the world, but there was a price to pay for that. I had to take like a year off from competing and drugs and everything just to get back to normal. And that's something that I really love about Jared and Joe is like, and it's kind of funny because they were like, okay, we want to run like this dose of Primo. Are you okay with that? And I was like, that's it. Like, there's no more. And I'm like, there's no other compounds either. Like that's it. And they're like, yeah. Like for Chicago Pro, I did not. I mean, obviously I took like Clen, I took, all the, that stuff, Yohimbine, but they did not add Primo in until I was like 6 weeks out, which in powerlifting, I mean, you're starting 12 weeks out and you are running them. Yeah. And I mean, I've done powerlifting preps where I ran multiple compounds for 12 weeks nonstop, just hammered to the, So when they were like, "Are you okay with this?" And I was like, yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Like, are you sure? Are you sure it shouldn't be more? Like,
yeah.
Should we be a little more aggressive here, or what are we doing? But yeah, I wish women would ask more questions, and I think it comes down to multiple things, honestly, but like education being one of them. Because like I didn't know, I didn't do my own research back then. I just assumed, like I said, that the coaches had my best interest at heart, and sometimes that's not the case.
Absolutely. Yeah, I talk about this all the time. I think that women's, divisions are making a comeback and probably becoming popular more than they ever have been.
Yeah.
But I still have, like, I see bodybuilding podcasts everywhere, right? Like we started one a couple months ago. But I do see a huge variance in guy-based competitors in their podcast versus women's. And I do wonder, like, if we had more female podcasts that were entertaining based around educating women, I think that would be so huge.
Yeah. So I've actually talked to my best friend Brianni about this, starting a podcast and, just being open about these things. And I feel like I'm pretty open online with my steroid use because I want people to see that you don't have to take massive amounts of drugs. Like I remember, this was years ago, a girl messaged me and she was like, asking me what I took. And I told her and she's like, that's it. And I was like, yeah, that's it.
Yep.
And then she sent me her grocery list of compounds that she was on. And all I replied was, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Because I mean, if I'm taking that, where are my world records? I'm the best in the freaking world. I am Miss Olympia. If I'm taking that, holy shit.
Yep. And we see that a lot, right? Like,
you have like a realm of genetics too on top of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see these, like you said, laundry lists of drugs that some of these women get on to win a regional show, right?
It's sad.
Stupid.
And then you see them disappear for a year and a half, 2 years just to get their hormones right. And then they have a real bad taste in their mouth for strength sports.
Yeah.
Or they come back and they try it again.
To go off on a tangent. Like they'll blame Everett, they'll blame the coach. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, the coach is part of it, but like no one's forcing you to do any shots. No one's forcing
No.
you to do any orals. It's your job as a competitor to know what you're putting into your body.
Absolutely agree.
Yep.
You have to do your own research.
And it comes down to, like you said, more education. And like I said, I feel more female podcasts would be huge for the industry. And I mean, it would bring more women in as well. You know?
I'm trying to think of a female podcast.
Yeah, well, yeah, I brainstorm all the time, and every now and then I come across one, but it's more of surface layer stuff, right?
Yeah.
They're not digging down to what's really important.
Yeah.
So what did make you want to try bodybuilding?
So back in 2021, I had cut weight. I cut weight for the Kern US Open. I went from I had to cut 20 pounds. It was miserable. And that morning I woke up, I was on weight, ready to go to weigh-ins. And I was, just confident, taking some pictures. And I was I was lean. Powerlifters are not that lean. And I was I could do a bodybuilding show. I already look like this. I bet I could do that. And I texted my coach. I sent him the pictures and I was could we do bodybuilding? And he was you look like you're 4 weeks out right now. And I literally did that competition. I think it was 8 or 9 weeks. I did a show in Omaha, and then I did USA's and Tampa Pro. And yeah, I got second at Tampa Pro, was one place away from going to the Olympia my first try. I just thought I'd be good at it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Brendan, isn't it funny to see all the people that we have on that just run through the ranks like this?
Doug just first competition, won it, won the overall. Next show he goes to freaking he ends up getting qualified for the Olympia.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, genetics and work ethic definitely take a play into it. And people people like Hunter and Doug, they have the genetics, but they also have the work ethic behind them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So strength sports, powerlifting, all of it. When did that start for you? Did you do sports growing up, or is it something that you found, later on?
So I went to a tiny town. I grew up in a tiny town. So I did literally every sport that they offered: basketball, softball, track, cross country, all of it. I got into running first. And then I was in college. I was, up running on the track, and I was watching everybody down low, lifting weights. And I was I don't know what it was. One day I was just man, I want to be muscular. I want to be a big, excuse my language, bitch. I want to walk in the room and I want people to be holy shit. Yeah. And I just took off with it. And I started at a Planet Fitness. And I just went for it. So it was I was probably 23-ish at that time. And then I was a gym rat for 2 years. I just did whatever I thought. I thought carb loading was eating cookies. It was bad. It was really bad. And then I was at the gym on Instagram, and I saw a video of a girl powerlifting, and I was what is this? And I looked it up, and I was I bet I would be good at that, because I feel I'm pretty strong, and signed up for a meet. And I think I've been a powerlifter now for almost 7 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Another question that I have about powerlifting before we transition back to some bodybuilding stuff. I'm on your page right now, about to share the screen.
Okay.
This is one of now I'll be the first one to say bodybuilding shows are boring as hell to me.
They are.
Powerlifting meets are so much more fun. I have a lot of friends who are very good powerlifters, and That's the most hype shit ever.
They're a lot of fun.
Now, this to me, if I can scroll down here on the page, looks like the most adrenaline a person can have in a lifetime. And I'm talking about the animal cage.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
that was such an amazing experience.
did you do that at the Arnold?
Yep. I squatted, what was it, 650 for 3?
Fucking savage.
650 for 3 is what I see here. Let me share it on the screen for people.
It was incredible.
What is the energy like in there?
I was scoping you out earlier, and I couldn't, I didn't have time to see that video, but shit, I want to see that video right now.
It was like surreal for me because I said that Arnold, pretty sure that was the first one that they've had since the pandemic started in 2020, if I'm correct, I think. So I went to that Arnold back then, like 2019. And I remember I was standing outside the cage. I was nobody at the time. And all the best female powerlifters were in the cage. And I was like, man, I'm going to be in that cage one day. Like, I'm going to be in there. And so, to finally, yep, there it is.
Fucking beast.
Crazy.
To, finally be in that moment. And, there's women surrounding the cage. There's a little girl. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but there's a little girl, sitting directly behind me while I'm getting my knees wrapped. I don't know. I just felt extreme gratitude. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is why God put me on this earth. And the first rep, I was like, oh, money, I got this. Second rep, I was like, oh shit, this is getting heavy. And then I got the third.
Yeah, I see the little head, head shake.
Oh shit, that was heavy. But it was such a awesome moment. I talked to so many women after that, and older women, young women, little girls, all of them telling me their story, telling me how they got into lifting, and I'm just my heart.
That's what you do it for, you know what I mean?
Now, do you remember what you were listening to in the headphones right there?
Pretty sure it's an EDM song.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I bet I can find it because I had a playlist back then.
Now, is it EDM usually that you're listening to prior to lifts, or is it all over the place?
It's kind of all over the place, but usually EDM, something that's gets me pumped up.
For sure. Is that what you listen to outside of the gym as well?
No, I listen to literally everything. Country, rap, a lot of hip hop. I'll listen to throwbacks to not throwbacks, our throwbacks, 2000s throwbacks.
Hell yeah.
But I think this was the song that I was listening to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for everybody out there, you can probably squat 600 for reps if you play that.
Play that song.
Just a little pro tip right there. Just a little pro tip.
Yeah.
Play that.
But I am not responsible for any injury or.
Anyone blows up.
It's not me. It's not me.
It's on you.
Yeah. But yeah.
Speaking of crazy,
awesome.
Our era.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of our era, so I came home today. Look, don't mean to dog the conversation, but you guys might find this as weird as I did. So I got home today.
I saw your story. I couldn't hear what the music was. I'm like,
yeah. So I get home. Quinn gets here off the bus with his friend. They're both 10. And they run into his room or whatever. And I hear him talking to Alexa. And they're like, Alexa, play this song. And I'm like, I wonder what they're gonna play. Probably something crazy that the kids are listening to these days. And they're like, it's by Nysunk. And I'm like, Nysunk. And they're talking to each other like, what's it called? They're like, I think it's called Bye Bye Bye. And I'm like, what? And they're like, Nysunk.
Fucking insane.
Figure it out.
No, you didn't.
So then
No, you didn't.
I open the door. And I'm like, gentlemen, I think the song you're looking for is Bye 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 by NSYNC. And they're like, oh, bro, they start playing it. They shut the door. I hear Backstreet Boys after that. I hear Shoop by Salt and Pepper.
Hell yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Am I in the Twilight Zone right now? Is it 99 again? Like, what is going on?
Amazing.
Bro, I feel like Snoop back in the day, Dr. Dre back in the day. Like, that's where the shit was at.
Yeah.
For sure. Come to find out they're playing it because of the new Deadpool movie, and that's the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
But for a minute there, I was like, just like, what is happening right now? Don't hate it though. It wasn't terrible. All right. Amazing. I got some questions. Brendan, do you have any questions at all off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. Let's talk about powerlifting, bodybuilding. What do you think? What parts do you think are most important that you brought over from one to the other? And like, do you think one faction can learn something from the other? Because I have my ideas of what I think some powerlifters could take from bodybuilders, but I would like to hear your take on it.
So I would say, with bodybuilding, there's no like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. Oh, I'll just do it another time. You got to do it today. Like it has to get done. So when I transitioned back to powerlifting, I was a lot more, it was easier to be disciplined. This is what I have to do today. This is what is going to get done today. I'm a relatively disciplined person in general, but bodybuilding definitely reinforces that. Like, especially when you're tired and don't want to, and you feel like shit and you just want to lay down, but you got to go do your cardio. You got to go pose. You got to get it done. So when I went back to powerlifting, it was a lot easier for me to carry that discipline. And that discipline was really helpful to have.
Nice. Do you think, so I've always thought that if powerlifters, now, once again, I was never a powerlifter, so I can't speak for all of them, but some of them that I know, they crash diet a little bit more than I think would be necessity. Do you think some powerlifters could benefit from, or do you think bodybuilding dieting in general, depending on the individual, is just a little too extreme to perform at that level that a powerlifter needs to perform?
I will say the diet within powerlifting is getting better because people are like actually viewing themselves as athletes. Because you always hear the term like fat powerlifter. It's not cool to be a fat powerlifter anymore. And people are trying to make weight classes and things like that. So it's like you got to be on diet. For me, like, I don't know, again, discipline comes into play. Like, I knew I've always had to make a weight class in powerlifting. So even in off season, I would just tell myself like, hey, you're going to have to sit in the sauna longer if you keep fucking up. Like, and sitting in the sauna, those last few hours suck. Like, they are miserable. It is miserable. And so, it just makes it, I don't know.
How different is the diet between powerlifting and bodybuilding?
For me, it wasn't that different. Same foods.
Just a little more higher intake, and you
Yeah,
really
yeah.
probably
Just
don't
it
have to
wasn't.
cut. I mean, like I know you have to make weight classes, but it's probably not as intense.
No, no.
Powerlifting is probably not as intense dieting wise
Yeah,
as
yeah.
bodybuilding.
You can be like, oh, I kind of want that cookie, like, and it's fine. Like, it's totally
Right.
fine. Obviously not fine in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I mean, my diet was relatively the same. It's the same foods, same stuff. There is a little more leeway and gray area in powerlifting. You know, you can fit some things in and kind of venture out a little more than obviously in
Like
bodybuilding.
from a mental aspect, from the dieting point of view, it's friggin' way easier to powerlift than it is to bodybuild.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh
good.
yeah. Way easier. Way easier. I mean, the only time powerlifting got hard for me diet wise was the last week. Because you're like, I mean, the coach that I had in powerlifting, my diet that last week would literally be what would it would be ground beef and peanut butter. And that was every meal for a week straight. That's what I ate.
Dang.
So yeah, yeah. So that was the only time that it got hard because obviously that gets old after a while.
Yeah.
But like bodybuilding, shit. Oh my God, it's 10 times harder all the way
Yeah,
around.
it's a
10 times
bitch.
harder. Oh
It is.
my God.
It's not fun in either season. It's not fun when you're cutting. It's not fun to eat 6,000 calories a day. Like
Yeah,
that's where I'm at right now. I'm like,
yeah.
it's so fresh into the off season, Brendan, and I'm already like
You're like, I'm done with this shit.
6,000 calories a day, and I'm like, by meal 5, I'm like this.
Because I hate to say it, man, but like, and the two of you can vouch for this as well. Like, we've all done plenty of shows to know that, like, once the food gets like bumped up, you start becoming lethargic. You're just like, what the fuck? I just want to sleep and eat. And that's all I can really have energy for. And it's like, don't get me wrong. Like when you're in the gym, if you have that off on switch, like you're turning that shit on in the gym. But I mean, like outside of it, you're like,
bro.
Like I said, you're lethargic and you're just like, what the fuck? But like, you know, it needs to be done in order to make progress and reach the goals that you want to reach. So.
Yeah. So I've actually never had a bodybuilding off season. It's like back in 21. Yeah. Back in 21, I did Tampa Pro and I went straight back to powerlifting. So I've never experienced having to force feed myself a bunch of calories. But I am planning to stay in bodybuilding for at least a few years, which I'm super excited about. So I will eventually get to experience having 6,000 calories, but
Excellent.
for
Love to
now,
hear.
not.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously, like your goal should be like get qualified for the Olympia and be able to experience that whole that whole trip and like ambiance and everything like that, and then you could probably like reevaluate kind of what you want to do, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the force feeding, man. The what scares me the most
I
is
bet it's hard.
these drives home from work I have. It's like 40 minutes highway.
Oh
That
shit.
last 15 minutes, I swear I am nodding off every day, bro. If you don't hear from me, it's because I got in an accident because of my
Great.
See, I can't be doing that shit with my full-time job. I won't have a full-time job if
that's
I
right.
do that.
All right. Okay. So we're gonna change directions a little bit. You have a son, correct?
I do not.
Oh, you do not.
I have a dog.
Close enough.
Information given to me by people. Well, a dog, that kills the question.
Someone told you I had a son?
Somebody told me that. Yeah. See, this is why you gotta go to the source. All right, we'll skip that.
No kiddos, no relationship, nothing going on besides her.
Cool. And what's the pup's name?
This is Peaches.
Yeah.
Peaches. Say hi. She just turned 1 year old on the 4th.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Happy birthday and peaches.
Yeah.
So we're recently new to Vegas, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
prior to that,
Vegas. No shit.
Yeah.
I'll be out there for the Olympia.
Awesome. I would love to meet you.
Hell yeah.
That'd be cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Where
So
do you train?
I train at Dragons and Fit Club.
Awesome. Dragons is going to be free. We're going out like I think that Wednesday and then coming back on Sunday. And it's just like, we all know that Dragons is going to be freaking through the roof with people.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. I was told because this will be my first Olympia here, I was told by several people to find somewhere else to train that week because it is packed.
Yeah, especially if you're qualified, the last thing you want to do is be distracted.
Yeah.
Do you ever train at Hide's gym? In Hide and is it Iris's gym?
I haven't been yet.
Yeah, it's the new Powerhouse.
I
right?
need to. Yeah, Powerhouse. Yeah, I have not been yet.
Looks like a good gym to me.
Yeah.
So how do you like Vegas?
I love it.
Really?
I love it. Yes. So I moved here from Kansas City, Missouri. And Kansas City was great. Like I would have stayed there if there was more like, you're a product of your surroundings. Mm-hmm. And I was not around people who were pushing me. I was not in environments where I felt like I was getting better. And here I walk in the room and there's 5 Olympians right over there. Like I'm constantly surrounded by better. And the fitness community here was just a little more advanced than what it was in Kansas City. And then, I'm young. I just wanted to learn and experience life and, get out there. So yeah, I absolutely love it. It's hot. I'll give you that. Yeah. It is quite warm. But it's wonderful. I love it.
We see that a lot now these days, right? Like we see another wave of people moving to the hubs of strength sports, right? Vegas,
Florida,
Texas. Mm-hmm. A lot of people seem to move there. It has me kind of jealous.
She's right.
Where do you live?
Like it's you
Maine.
Gotta. Yeah, you get.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Hey, Maine and New Hampshire. That's where we are.
Oh shit. Yeah. We're like really far away.
Yeah.
Not much of a bodybuilding culture up here, to be quite honest.
No, it's far few and in between with like what kind of talent is up in this like northeast area.
Sure.
For sure.
I mean, like Mike just said, it's like Texas, Vegas, Florida. Like if I could go there right now, I'd 100% be there in a second.
And kind of all the talent that we had up here kind of migrated down there.
Yeah.
So a lot of it. Yeah, I'm with you, Brendan. If it was a possibility right now to move to Texas
would be really cool.
It'd be really nice.
Texas would be awesome.
Headed down there for nationals this year. Got
awesome
competing in nationals, so I'm excited to head back down.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. Here we go. I like this one. This is a good question. So since you are one of the faces of women's strength sports, do you ever feel like a pressure at all or a weight on your shoulders to or an obligation, to always perform?
Not so much. Okay, so whenever I'm not motivated or I don't feel like doing something or I'm just not up for it that day, one of the things that I tell myself is they're counting on you. And I don't mean like my friends, my family, obviously they're counting on me, but I'm talking about women and, the women that came before me. I take a lot of pride in being a woman in strength sports. I think it's phenomenal. And I'm really proud of it. But, the women that came before me, the women who paved the way and opened doors and walked so I could run, they're counting on me. The women who are going to be coming up behind me in this sport, the women who, you know, don't know if something's possible or if they're capable or if they should even try, they're counting on me. And so, yes, I do put pressure on myself because I've never, like, you know, it's not just about me, it's about all women across the world. Like, I just have a very big perspective of it, and I'm not just looking at myself.
I think that's important, right? Because
Yeah,
you are, you know, you have a lot of eyes on you from girls who might be 5 years old and think that's the coolest shit I've ever seen. Like
it's an
she's
honor.
stronger than every other guy in here, right? Um, what what do you like? What advice do you give to women that think they want to get into strength sports, but like, you know, there's a lot that goes into it, right?
Hmm.
Because you are going to be unfortunately tagged with a stereotype. There's
Yep.
definitely still some stigma out there to some
uh
degree. Um, and that can be hard to like, I think that probably keeps a lot of women out that might,
yeah,
if that wasn't there, that they would probably be more receptive to getting into strength sports.
yeah.
How would you go about speaking to a girl that might have hesitations because of those things?
It's tough because I've always been just so proud to be this. Like, I get a lot of blowback online and, you know, sometimes in person based on how I look. Um, but I've always just had such immense pride in it, you know. And I guess I would tell her, like, you know, you worked hard for this body. You worked hard to make yourself better, and like, be proud of that. Like, be proud of being strong. Be proud of being this, you know, monumental woman. Um, I don't know. Just be proud.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I
I
think it
agree.
falls back into what you were just saying. Like that, the answer that you gave us in that last question, where you're just like you're doing this because you don't want to let like other females down, and you want to set like such a good example. That's not something you hear. You usually hear it was the upbringing, or like they wanted to do it for themselves. So I mean, like unselfishly, when we're in a selfish sport, to hear you answer a question like that, it's like it is inspiring, and I hope we get females to get to watch this particular podcast,
I hope
because
so too.
I think it's important for them to know stuff like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I also think that like femininity, right, is like person dependent, right? And
Yes.
there's femininity in being 100 pounds and being 5'4", and there's femininity in being 200 pounds and muscle bound and, you know, 5'8". And
Absolutely.
that's not up to an outside source to to put a label on whether they think that's feminine or not.
Yeah. So that is actually something I really, really struggled with hard. Because, and I think honestly, I just didn't know what it meant for me to be a woman. Because at the time that I was struggling, I was 200 pounds. I was almost benching 400. Are we talking about a man or a woman here? Like, that is, you know, and I was super muscular. Like, it's hard to feel feminine at that time. But I think I honestly just didn't know what it meant for me to be a woman. But like, now I'm like, I'm 200 pounds. I am muscular. I have a beautiful physique. I am stunning. Like, I know what it means for me to be a woman. And there's no right or wrong answer. Like, whatever you decide as woman to woman, whatever you decide, that's the right answer. Whatever
Yeah.
makes you most confident, most happy, most whatever, that's the right answer.
And what did it take? What was the kind of switch, or what did it take for you to come to that like realization that this is me as a woman? Like,
Yeah. It took me a long time. Because for a while I tried to like take the emotion out of it. You know, I was like, okay, my body is 200 pounds because it's serving a purpose. That's how my brain looked at it. You know, my body is 165 because it's serving a purpose. But now, like, honestly, the biggest thing was like this year going back to bodybuilding and just like, I don't know, like pink hair, like chest tattoo, like just kind of blossoming and figuring things out and trying new things. Like this year was huge for me. Like I won so much behind the scenes. I would say this year and like just being back in bodybuilding and kind of just learning who I am and what it means for me to be a woman. And, you know, anytime, and I still get blowback. Like I still get,
Sure.
you know, I still get people like, hey, sir, like,
yeah,
come on, my hair is this long
yeah.
and pink. I'm a woman.
Yeah.
But I get it, you know, but like, I still get that stuff. Like I still get hatred online, but like now that I know myself so much better, like you can't tell me anything. You can't tell me anything because I'm not going to believe it because I know who I am, what I am, and I'm proud of that. So
I think I think finding self, as cliche as it is, you know, I think it's so important for people.
Yeah.
And it's not an overnight process, right? Like,
Mm-mm.
you know, I didn't have to necessarily deal with the same things you did, but me finding myself in my own situation, that shit took me into my 30s. You know, like in my 20s, it was you don't understand yourself till you go through enough experience, and you have to reach a mental, emotional, spiritual maturity that I think you can't come to that in a year, even if you internally feel, you know, I'm not who I should be yet. Right. That takes time in general.
For sure.
So anybody out there that kind of feels out of place or not sure what it is, it'll get better. I promise it'll get better.
It does. It gets so much better. Wait, how old are you?
35.
Damn.
Yeah.
I would not have guessed. I thought we were the same age. I mean, we basically are. I'm 29.
Oh, yeah. See, I hate this. I always get this. I look younger than I am, and then I have to break it out to people that
break the news to them.
Sorry, I'm actually closer to 40.
Oh no.
Yep. That's the next big one. All right. This is a good one. Back to speaking on PEDs for a second.
Yeah.
You know, like we were saying earlier, a lot of women have a coach that may not be as educated as they should be and put them on the whole kitchen sink. What would you tell women? Now, we got to be a little careful here, but lower risk drugs, right? Because there are some lower risk, we'll call them, comparatively to others. What are some lower risk ones that you think these are a category that, like, if you're in strength sports and a woman, you might think about taking, versus then we have our other category over here that me personally, I think no woman needs to take. It isn't necessity, at least.
Yeah. I mean, I would say like start out with Anavar. Like start out with a low dose of Anavar, see how you respond to that, see if you like it. I don't know. I personally, I really like Primo. Primo has been my go-to for like years now. I would say definitely you don't need Tren, you don't need all that stuff. But yeah, I would say like start with one compound, do a low dose, see how you respond to it, see if you like how you respond to it, do your research, and go from there.
Mike, the same approach that we were just talking about on that last episode. It's like what you would do, like, yeah, the doses are going to be different on what, like, you implement on a male side than a female side, but people need to listen to what we're saying here. Start off with one compound at a low dosage to see how your body reacts to it, because if you start throwing in 2 to 3 compounds and something goes wrong or haywire, you ain't gonna freaking know where to go.
Yeah. You don't know. Like
you don't know what to weed out.
Yeah, you don't know
if
you're on 3 compounds.
So it's important that you go one at a time.
Yeah.
You know, do that particular compound and that dosage for 8 to 12 weeks and see how your body responds to it. Then go from there. But talk to your coach, communicate with your coach, and then if you wanted to add another compound to it, by all means, do it.
Yeah, yeah. I would say if you're a woman and your coach is, and you're like, I want to do my first cycle, like I'm ready, I've done my research, and your coach is like, all right, let's put you on this.
Nope.
No, absolutely not.
That's where you need to speak up.
Absolutely not. Do not do that.
For sure. I also find that, the rebound from these drugs, obviously they're a little more intense for women than men, because men, we have the majority of these hormones in our body.
Yeah.
And women don't, right? And it plays a mental factor too. Like, not just is your body changing to an extreme it's never been, but also, thought process can be slightly different when these drugs are in your system. And I do find that female competitors sometimes post-show, body image in general is a little bit more extreme for women than men. I mean, nobody wants to get fat after a show, right? But I think guys have an easier time putting on body fat mentally than
it's not so emotional.
Than emotionally, yeah. Do you think that at times it's good to at least caution women that, bodybuilding is a sport of extremes, and you're going to look the best you've ever looked, but then after that, you have to be mentally ready to maybe not look the way you want to look. And I think that's hard for women sometimes. I don't think that side's expressed enough to women.
I agree completely. When I did bodybuilding in 21, I had never done a rebound before. I didn't know what that was like. And holy shit, that is hard. That is so hard. That's harder than dieting. I mean,
80% of people fall off onto a binge.
Yeah. And I did, and I'm sure the majority of people who have their.
I think we all have, you know what I mean? Including, you know what I mean? I think all three of us have experienced that.
But no one warned me. I didn't even know.
Yeah, you just
I had no idea.
Go into a food coma and end up passing out because you ate so much goddamn food. But it's you live and you learn, and the experiences that we've all been through have put us where we are to know that how important a reverse and a rebound, coming off a show, how important it is, and to stay within the realm of body fat percentage.
Yeah.
And I think it's important, I know it sounds extreme, but sports therapists or therapists in general, I think that can be a good move, right? Because you're going to have these emotions that come back, and you're going to be scared to put on weight, and you're going to be scared of the way that your body looks. And yes, it's okay, but you can't necessarily tell that to somebody at the time. You don't always, you don't always respond the way that is correct. And I think that some type of therapist or somebody to talk to, if you're going to get into these sports, there's so much more into them than just lifting weights and dieting. So women and men as well, dude, don't be scared to talk to somebody about this, because it's not always easy,
Mental healthness is just as important.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is.
Especially in this.
Yes, it is.
For sure. Because
I gotta head out of here, guys. Hunter, it was nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, I'll DM you. We'll have to link up when I get to Vegas and maybe get a session in. That'd be awesome.
I'd love that. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, I'll talk to you guys.
Bye.
Yeah. I won't keep you much longer, but I do have a couple more questions.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Here we go. All right, so you have a show in 2 weeks.
Yes.
I'm gonna knock on wood here, but you win next in 2 weeks. You're headed to the O.
Holy shit.
what does that look like? Like, are you guys maintaining, rebounding? Have you talked about that? Or is it just strictly focused on 2 weeks from now right now?
Right now, we are solely focused on this show. We haven't even addressed if I make it to the Olympia, when I make it to the Olympia.
That's right.
So I don't know. I assume that we'll just keep. I don't know.
No, that's okay to not know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
And it's good that the focus is only on, the here and now.
Yeah. For sure.
Now, for you, what would you like to see? Let's say you get there. What would you like to see as the package that you bring comparatively to what Chicago looked like?
Chicago, I would say I was like 80%.
Okay.
And I want to be like, we're doing this. Let's do it. Like, all in, do it. Like, if we're going to do this, let's go for it.
Yeah.
So I want to be 100% as close to it as I can be. My hamstrings have finally come in, and I am so stoked about it.
Hey.
I'm really excited about that.
How often do you look in the mirror and just like peep the hamstring?
All the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you there yet? Are you
there?
Yeah.
I know that.
They're finally in. I'm so stoked about it. I don't know. I have a really good feeling about this.
Good. It's all, if you can see it mentally, you can make it happen.
It feels like I could just like reach out and grab it. Like, it's right there.
Yeah. Good. What I can't think of the phrase now when you visualize something mentally. Called
would that be manifestation?
Manifestation. Yeah. There you go. Thank you. Boom. Manifestation. That's what it is right now.
Yeah.
All right. So I did get some questions from some people.
Okay.
I tried to keep it secret that you were coming on, but I did ask some of my powerlifting friends, like, if you could speak to her, what would you ask? And one of the questions that came up multiple times is like, what do you do for recovery weekly in powerlifting and in bodybuilding?
So I have a chiropractor here that I go to. I get massages. I don't really do anything special, I feel like. Yeah. Nothing.
Are you a big believer in the new like ice bath and
I'm not. I'm not, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm neither here nor there with them. I'm sure
it's fine. Do what you want. I don't know.
First off,
if I had access to one, maybe.
Yeah, right. And first off, I'm not getting in a tub full of ice. I'm just gonna
no, that sounds miserable. That sounds awful. No,
100%.
Absolutely not. I don't want to do that. I moved out of the Midwest for a reason. It's because it's cold.
Man, I just bought a house last year, so I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. But
is it cold there?
Oh man, it's so cold. Winters are terrible. And we only get like 3 real months of summer. So it's like 9 months of kind of shit, 3 months of pretty good if we're lucky.
Kind of shit.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I've never been to Maine.
It's really nice in the summer.
Yeah.
If it's a nice day.
I've been to Maryland. Is that close to Maine?
Not really. That's still for us. That's still like probably like a 10-hour drive.
Okay, that's about as close as I've been.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's kind of close. If you like beautiful coastline, rocky coastline, we got beautiful coastline.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's really it. Let's see. Oh, this is do you wraps or sleeves? If you're just training to train.
It's easier to train with sleeves just because you don't have to have someone there. So you can just go when you want to go. You don't have to have like someone there. as much as I love training wraps, because it's so fun, I would say sleeves, just because it's lower maintenance, and just easier.
Yeah, interesting. I've never owned a pair of sleeves. So I had one of the local like better power lifters here wrap my knees once, like in true wraps. I don't know how you guys do it. That's the most painful shit I've ever gone.
That shit hurts.
Not to mention, I couldn't even like barely get down to parallel with like 315 on my back. It was insane.
Yeah.
Insane. It was
They're
the most
tight.
painful squat I ever
They're
did.
tight.
So yeah, I would probably choose sleeves.
Yeah.
We kind of went over that and that. Interesting. All right. So outside of bodybuilding, powerlifting, what does Hunter Henderson like to do?
I love to read. I love to go to coffee shops. I like to, Vegas has a lot of like, Vegas is just fun. Like exploring Vegas. I don't know if that's a hobby, but there's just so much to do here.
Have you seen any cool shows?
Yes,
Like,
I've been to a couple Cirque du Soleil shows. Those are so cool, like wicked cool. If
I
you
really
are
want,
ever in Vegas, you have got to go to one because
I
they're
really
so
want to.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so cool. But yeah, just kind of relax. These days, I am pretty boring.
Yeah.
I don't do much because I get tired. But I am going to see the new Beetlejuice movie tonight. I
Oh,
am
lucky
so
you.
excited for it.
So Beetlejuice is one of my favorite movies of all
Yes.
time. Michael Keaton in Beetlejuice is one of the best
Yes.
roles ever. So I'm
Yes.
super jealous. I forgot
Yes.
it's in theaters. You're
Yeah,
going
it
to
came
see
out
it
today.
tonight. All
Yeah,
right.
it came out today.
You're gonna have to let me know how it is
I
because
will.
I am super excited for that, and I hope they do it justice, and I
I
hope
do
it's funny as
too.
hell.
I do too.
I love that. I love that they brought everybody back. Seeing Winona Ryder older,
Right?
and
That's cool.
what's her name that played the younger girl that played in the Addams Family one?
Oh shit.
I
What's her
forget her
real
name,
name?
but you know who I'm talking about.
Yes, she's super pretty.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah. But
I can't think of it.
her playing the role, I think, is perfect. And then
Yeah.
yeah, it just looks awesome.
Yeah.
You said you did some sports growing up. When's the last
Yeah.
time you did a sport? When's the last time you played a sport?
Oh no. Probably college. I did like
Oh,
intramural sports
yeah.
in college. One of my biggest regrets uh is that I didn't do sports in college. I kind of followed the crowd and went the sorority route, which was fine, but I definitely would have loved to have done like track or something in college.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You ran track too.
I ran track. I was a really good in high school. I was a discus thrower, and that was like my main thing. I was really good at throwing discus. So that would have
Dang.
just been cool, but
Did you watch it? Did you watch the Olympics at all?
I did.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love that shit.
Track and
Incredible.
field always gets me hyped.
It's
Doesn't
cool.
matter the event. It's so
It's
dope.
cool. I love seeing like what people can do, like regardless of what it is, like art, baking, any of it. Like I just love seeing what people are capable of.
Thank you.
It's
I
so
always
cool.
say this. There's something about seeing somebody perform at the highest level in whatever it is.
Yeah.
It just I'm gonna watch. It could be making plastic cups, but if they're the best in the world, that's sick.
Yeah, it's super cool. I love seeing what people are capable of.
Yeah, the Olympics were dope this year. I really enjoyed it. And I told myself I wasn't really going to watch, and then I watched today, and then I found myself for the next 48
and then you're
hours
sucked in. Yeah.
watching. Are you a football fan?
I'll watch it, but not like die hard anything.
Okay. So you're not stoked for like Sunday kickoff. Well, I guess the kickoff of the season was last night, but
it was. Not really. Like if you were like, hey, like let's go to a football game, I'd be like, cool, let's go. That sounds fun.
For sure.
But go sports, like
yeah.
I'll go watch them, but like I'm not like the Chiefs are my team. Like I have a jersey in my closet. Like I'm not like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that's really kind of all the questions I have for you.
Okay.
But I really appreciate you coming on, taking your time out, especially in prep.
This was nice.
That,
this was nice.
I know how that can be in prep, so I truly appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Maybe after this show, you can come back on.
Yeah.
And maybe we could do a recap, and then we could do like a little Olympia prediction about some women's categories.
I would love that.
That would be dope. That would be really fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm down for that.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you for coming on, and bye to Peaches.
Bye to Peaches. You say bye.
See you, Peaches. Be nice to your mom during prep.
Well, thank you for having me. This was wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. It was awesome. And it was great having you on. Talk to you soon. And good luck.
Thank you.